Good evening, and thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett. We want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following for your Wednesday. And in just a few minutes, we're going to have First Alert meteorologist Patrick Peet give an update on the weather tomorrow because it's going to be a First Alert weather day. So you're going to bear with us a few minutes because you'll want to know the details on that. The first substantial rain we've had in about 6 weeks. So definitely going to be a bit of a shock to the system as we haven't seen that in quite some time, but we certainly could use the rain. But we do have several stories that we are following all across Metro Atlanta. Quick programming note, keep in mind you can join us tonight at 10 on Peachtree TV, and you can join us at 11 on WANF. And this is a story that we have been following all day. Just sad news to have to report. A power lineman in the city of Griffin was killed, unfortunately, today while he was on the job. We have some video of the scene here. And we had Chelsea Beimfor out there today. Our reporter Madeline Montgomery will be picking up the coverage this evening. You can see her report tonight. But we have learned that one has died and one is injured and had to be taken to the hospital. They said it was due to an equipment failure, according to the police department. So police and the fire department, as well as emergency medical personnel, were called to the area of Spalding Street and Little Street. That's where this accident happened. One of the linemen, who has now been identified as Eric Weems, died on the scene. The other lineman, Trent Granger, had to be taken to the hospital where we are told he is in critical but stable condition. So the streets around the incident were closed all day. It was just around 7 o'clock when Madeline said that they were finally starting to clear out of that area. But police saying in a statement to please keep the Griffin linemen and their families in your prayers. Right now, it's still unclear what exactly happened, why the equipment failed. You could see the buckets on the ground. It looks like mechanism bent in half there, but we still just don't know what exactly happened or why it happened. And those, if you live in that area and you don't have power, of course, everyone just having to wait until further notice. We don't have any timeline on that. But again, sad news to have to report today, and reporter Madeline Montgomery will be picking up this story for tonight. The next story that we want to bring you to is one from our political reporter, Doug Reardon. Of course, we are coming off of a busy election cycle, and we've talked about the presidential race, but there were, of course, many other positions that people voted for on the ballot. One of those, the position of district attorney in Fulton County. So Fani Willis, fresh from her win against a Republican challenger, Courtney Kramer, for another term, but has also faced a lot of controversy over her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump, a romantic relationship with one of her special prosecutors in that case, and then most recently a series of plea deals that came in the YSL trial that involved rapper Young Thug. So our political reporter sat down with Fani Willis one-on-one to learn more about what she hopes to accomplish in her second term, as well as what happens to her criminal case against President-elect Donald Trump now.
I'm really proud of our first term.
Fulton County DA Fani Willis says some of the biggest accomplishments of her first term happened outside of the courtroom. Her team cleared a decade's worth of backlogged cases, 18,000 of them, some dating back to 2014. She started a pre-indictment diversion program that already has seen 300 people graduate with no jail time, and the DA's mentorship program is now working with 500 kids in 20 local schools. But a few criminal cases dominated the headlines in her first 4 years, none more so than her prosecution of Donald Trump and some of his allies for election crimes in Georgia.
I didn't indict anyone who I did not believe committed a crime in any case.
The future of Trump's case becomes murkier after Trump's re-election. A Supreme Court ruling earlier this year made it tougher to prosecute presidents for things they do on the job. Willis indicated she still plans to pursue charges against Trump.
If someone has an indictment in this office, no matter who they are, we continue to pursue those charges.
Emory University law professor John Acevedo says because Trump can avoid prosecution in the White House, the DA may only have one choice.
In theory, Fani Willis could try the other defendants, wait 4 years, and then bring the case back against Donald Trump as soon as he leaves office.
It'll be hard to do, but there's nothing stopping Willis from doing it. She said as much on Wednesday.
And, I'm here for 8 more years is my plan. And so if that's what it takes for us to get justice in some cases, we come to work every day. We'll come to work and look for justice.
All right, taking you back out here live. There is a story that our Adam Murphy was reporting on today. An Amazon driver is now accused in a deadly hit-and-run crash that happened on Cumming Highway in Cherokee County. The Amazon driver expected to have his first court appearance tomorrow. And again, Adam Murphy reports.
On a busy stretch of Cumming Highway near Jordan Lane, orange paint on the pavement marks the scene of a fatal hit-and-run accident.
He was traveling west on Cumming Highway towards Canton and struck the victim on the front passenger side of the van.
At about 6:30 Tuesday evening, the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office said 79-year-old Sandra Fitz was crossing the roadway when a delivery truck driver hit and killed her instantly.
It's a very unfortunate situation. The victim and her husband apparently had recently sold their home nearby, but they go there back to that house, I'm told, at night to feed some cats that still, or the wild cats that live in the area, and she had crossed over the road to go to the cemetery where I think she has family members.
Evidence at the scene indicated that the woman was fatally struck by an Amazon truck. The driver, 24-year-old London Best of Alpharetta, was arrested and charged with vehicular homicide in the first degree, as well as hit and run. He remains in custody without bond.
It appears that he knows what happened, and he can actually continue to deliver packages in the area.
Amazon spokesperson Austin Stowe sent this statement saying, quote, "We're deeply saddened by this incident, and our thoughts are with the victim's family and loved ones during this difficult time. We'll support local police as they investigate," end quote.
Something to keep in mind for all drivers, this is a terrible situation, but had he not left the scene, it's very likely that he wouldn't have been charged, certainly not with these felonies.
All right, this next news coming to us from reporter Patrick Quinn. If you ride the MARTA, then you're going to want to listen to this because a controversial plan over the 5 Points MARTA station is no longer on pause. We've reported on this before here at Atlanta News First. There's been a lot of back and forth there, and if you want to read a little bit more about the background, we have all of that for you, as well as several other stories for you on atlantanewsfirst.com and our Atlanta News First app. But the latest developments today is that, as we said, this plan is no longer on pause because construction was supposed to start over the summer, but that dissolved in early July after Mayor Andre Dickens called on MARTA to halt this project, fearing that a long construction timeline would impact the riders. People were even protesting having this construction take place. But now, MARTA has agreed to keep one entrance open during construction. It's along Forsyth Street, allowing riders, including those who need to use the elevator in order to transfer, to access the station. So this is the city's biggest and busiest station, and initially MARTA suggested the entire station would be inaccessible for at least 18 months. But now MARTA says this compromise and this project would be a win-win for the city and its riders. It allows them to complete their needed repairs and update the station, and it allows people to be able to still access the station because certainly a year and a half without this busy MARTA station would definitely impact travel. So the initial projection for the project was $230 million. The main change coming is a new canopy or a roof. Roughly 17,000 Atlanta riders access this station every single day, to tell you just how busy it is. So they're now going to allow street-level access, and the construction timeline will be extended. The initial plan's calling for a 4-year timeline, so we're not sure exactly how long. It will be longer than that. Still no word on when exactly they are expected to begin their work, but according to reporter Patrick Quinn, it should be very soon. So definitely a big piece of news if you frequently travel with MARTA. All right. Big heads up for tomorrow. It is a first alert weather day. Hey, Wesley, I see you're watching from Ackworth. We appreciate you joining us here. We want to turn things over now to Patrick to give you a look at how you can plan your day tomorrow.
Yeah, all eyes preparing on this first alert weather day that we have coming down the pipeline tomorrow. And this is going to be a first alert weather day that is going to be a moderate impact. We were talking about widespread rain across our area. We'll dive into the totals, but for the most part, everybody's going to get roughly either a half inch to an inch, maybe some isolated spots getting a little bit more than that. And I know that doesn't sound like a big number because it's not, but remember, we have not had considerable rain for weeks. We're talking about roughly 6 weeks. Remember Hurricane Helene? Yeah, all of that was the last time we got rain, and it was way too much. So this is going to be a beneficial rain for our area, but we want to make sure that everyone understands that this is going to be a little impactful for multiple reasons. Number one, it's been a while, and I've been on the interstates in the middle of the afternoon when it's sunny. People sometimes forget how to drive. And with rain coming down, and it hasn't rained in 6 weeks like this, you know, it's going to be a refresher for some folks. And I kid, but it is going to make for a slippery commute. And it's also going to be chilly. Temperatures are going to be in the 40s and low 50s across the area. So it's just not going to be, it's going to be nasty to get out of the house. The good news, this is not going to be an all-day event. This is just going to be through the overnight and into the morning. By the time we get to lunchtime, things are going to be trending a little bit drier. So here are the details of this. Widespread rain through the overnight into the early morning. Up to an inch is going to be possible in some locations. Some better news here is that severe weather is not likely, and even flooding isn't really a major concern. We'll watch the extreme northwestern corner of the state, mainly outside of our viewing area. There's maybe like a 5% chance that we could have an issue there, but inside of our viewing area, I think we're going to be just fine. Rain chances increasing as we head through the evening hours. Don't be surprised if you're going out to dinner, maybe going to catch a movie that starts at 9, 10. By the time you leave out, you're probably going to want that umbrella, and that's going to be the story through the morning drive. And even for folks that leave work at around 10 o'clock to grab lunch, 10, 11, I know it's early, but some folks do it. May still be dealing with some lingering showers in Fort East Georgia. Will eventually trend drier as we head into the afternoon. So here's a look at the 10 o'clock timestamp tonight. And you can already see that rain moving into Georgia, North Georgia, and the metro at 10 o'clock. Some lighter showers. This is going to be the precursor to more rain that's going to be building in as we head into the early morning hours. I'm going to stop the clock at 8 o'clock because this is whenever most of y'all are pulling into work, and it's looking messy out there. Beyond the messiness of the rain, take a look at the temperatures. That's what we've been talking about, that chilly rain. It's not freezing cold, but when it's chilly and rainy, it's just kind of nasty. We want to make sure that you're prepared for that. You have the jacket and the umbrella, probably the raincoat, any combination of those things. That is just going to be a little it's going to be a little gross out there in the morning. By 1 o'clock, the bulk of that moisture pushes out towards the east. I do think we'll start to get some breaks in the clouds, and that should allow most of our atmospheres to recover into the upper 50s. We're going with 60 degrees at Hartsville, Jackson, just because it's typically a little bit warmer. And then as we head into the evening, those winds shift. They become more northwesterly, and that ushers in that cool air back in. So a lot of folks are going to dip back into the 40s to kickstart your Friday morning. The good news is Friday trends sunny, and by the afternoon, we're pretty close to seasonable, which is great news. Here's a look at our latest rainfall totals. And once again, half inch to an inch widespread is the number that we've been going with for several days, and the data continues to agree with that. So we're sticking with that, although we do believe some isolated locations in extreme North Georgia could get roughly 1.25 inches or so, something we'll be watching as those rain bands start to move in. Friday afternoon, I mentioned that it rebounds, and we get there. Low to mid-60s area-wide, good mix of sun and clouds. Saturday's looking even better, which is great news because it's the Atlanta Fall Wine Festival. Y'all know I love me some wine, and it's just really going to be a pleasant afternoon, 1 to 5, to get outside and try it. I think they're going to have like 50 different wines. There's going to be a whole lot of breweries there. There's going to be some of those ready-to-drink cocktails that some folks have been doing lately. All of that jazz. I think the tickets are like $50. It's at it's going to be Old Fourth Ward Skate Park, 1 to 5. The weather really couldn't be more agreeable for that event, so green light to make plans, get those tickets, and get out there. The numbers continue to warm as we head through the weekend into Sunday. Upper 60s, flirting with 70 degrees Sunday afternoon across our area, and then we eventually get into the 70s as we head into Monday. 72 degrees our high by Monday. We'll see clouds build back in on Tuesday, and then we're watching for another system to bring us the chance of some showers by Wednesday. Not overwhelming rain chances, but something that we're going to watch. Right now, we're going to go with the 30% chance of rain. And because there's rain and clouds, temperatures are going to trend cooler back into the upper 60s. Now, we're keeping an eye on the tropics as well. I know that we are getting cooler, and we're getting in, fall is falling right now, and we're, running into winter within the next month or so. But we are still in hurricane season. Typically, activity decreases. You don't see as many storms. And actually, the area that you see systems develop, it shrinks. You don't get those storms out in the wide open Atlantic. Now, all of the energy is concentrated closer to the states in the Caribbean. And that's what we're watching right now. An area of low pressure we've been telling you about for several days kind of continues to meander in the Caribbean. It's been blowing up every afternoon, getting more thunderstorm activity. Still not the best defined system, but it is becoming a closed low. And the National Hurricane Center actually has a flight into this storm tomorrow morning, so we'll get a little bit more detail about what's happening inside of this system right now. This is all from satellite data, but what we can tell is that it is becoming better organized. You can see that visibly with your eyes. And they're going with the 90% chance of this becoming a tropical depression over the course of the next 7 days. But beyond that, we're looking at the next 48 hours, and it's highly likely 90% chance of this becoming a depression before the weekend. So something we'll keep an eye on. If this becomes a depression, it's fine. If it becomes a tropical storm, the next name on the list is Sarah, so that's something that we'll watch. Now, I will be very, very frank. There's a lot that goes into tropical systems this time of year. You get a whole lot more wind shear, not only in the Gulf of Mexico, but you get it out in the wide open Atlantic. So the reason why you don't typically get as many storms in November as you get in October, September, you have cooler waters, so the energy source isn't the same. And then you also have wind shear, which means you have winds that are coming in an opposite direction, kind of tearing storms apart. Those two things are, it's a silver bullet. So as we watch both of these things interact, the models have been struggling to determine exactly what happens with this system. So yesterday, if you were with us in the newscast, we were showing you a lot of the guidance was hinting at this becoming a tropical storm, maybe even a hurricane. Today, all of the guidance has dialed back on that. It's looking less impressive. So tropical depression, highly likely. Tropical storm, it's probably a 50-50 shot right now. Chance of it being a hurricane looks less than 20%. So either way, we'll keep an eye on that for you. We will keep you updated here on this 8 o'clock stream. But also, if you have the First Alert weather app on your phone, we will push out alerts every time we get an update there. And then also, we'll keep you updated on our website. So stay tuned. There's still a lot of stuff developing. We're going to get more data in over the course of the next hour or two about the rain tomorrow. We'll give you an updated timeline tonight on Peachtree TV. And, of course, we'll give you a last look at the forecast heading into the weekend at 11 on Atlanta News First. Y'all have a fantastic evening.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here on the First Alert Desk. Remember, you can join us tonight at 10 and 11 on Atlanta News First. We'll see you where you stream on TV or even atlantanewsfirst.com. Take care and have a good rest of your evening.